Welcome back to Electrified. Hope you all had a very nice break. So, for months and really years now, people have mentioned Tesla's ChatGPT Moment. As with most things, it was never properly specifically defined. But after this weekend, I think it's fair to say more people than ever are experiencing this moment, and the momentum is greater than it's ever been around the world for FSD. And it's no longer just in good weather. This weekend, we saw numerous videos of FSD version 14 handle snow in ways that I don't think most of us were expecting. And I myself had quite the experience with a midnight drive on unplowed roads with the stock summer performance tires on my Model 3. For Europeans, things are finally trending in a positive direction as Tesla is now offering demo rides of FSD in a few different countries, and so far the feedback has been very positive. In Spain, Tesla has just been approved for 19 vehicles to test FSD on all roads in the country, and while Tesla is sure to start this with safety operators, according to current regulations, the expectation is that these safety operators are optional. And this approval in Spain is thanks to a new national automated vehicle testing framework that lays out how these companies can test automated driving systems. Tesla is now approved to run these tests in Spain for 2 years until November 2027. Companies like Wave and Renault are also testing, but they only have 3 and 2 vehicles approved respectively. And then zooming out across the EU, Tesla's holding those FSD demo rides in Germany, France, and Italy, with more countries said to be coming soon. And we can't forget Tesla is pushing for national approval in the Netherlands by February 2026. But as we discussed recently, the RDW is still on a different page than Tesla, and they came out and said they'll only be allowing Tesla to prove itself in February 2026, not committing to any actual approval for Tesla just yet. But hands down, February 2026 in the Netherlands is where all eyes should be. Mark your calendars, as that's the test Tesla will have to pass, because effectively whether that approval is granted or not will determine how the rest of the EU responds. But looking around, Tesla is clearly coordinating with regulators all over the EU to do anything and everything it can to test FSD and get it ready for formal regulatory reviews and eventually approval for customer use. These demo rides allow people to sign up and sit in the passenger seat and experience FSD. Tesla will have an employee in the driver's seat at all times, but passengers are able to bring guests as well if they would like. And from some of these video recordings of these demo drives, we can see Tesla is now including notifications in the UI to alert passengers of an upcoming maneuver, most likely thanks to the DCAS regulations around the HMI, or the human-machine interface. Now, when you really think about it, constantly alerting the driver of what's going on could be more dangerous than not, as the driver's eyes will be continually drawn away from the road and onto the screen. But this is just more proof that Tesla is going to do whatever it can to play by the rules and push things forward, but has said it will draw the line at the point when it makes the system less safe. Some people are saying setting the max speed, the feature we no longer have in North America, might be present on these European FSD builds, but as far as I can tell, that has not been confirmed yet. And the reviews are mostly what we would expect. Esther Reber said amazingly smooth and safe drive in one of the busiest areas in Dusseldorf, Germany. We are so very impressed. Europe needs FSD supervised ASAP. And most of this testing across the EU that I've seen was still on FSD 14.1.7. So these demo drives will certainly lead to social media posts and hopefully news coverage and more pressure being put on the European regulators. And the approval for Tesla's testing in Spain will of course allow Tesla to collect more local road data, improving the system further. And then in South Korea, we have Tesla Chan saying that Tesla's FSD moment is happening in Korea, as the media is now reporting on Tesla releasing FSD to customers. It's still only on Model S and X Linux vehicles, as the Y and 3 are imported from China, and those vehicles follow the UNECE regulations, whereas the models S and X coming from the US follow US regulations thanks to the free trade agreement between the US and Korea. And we've shown over the years how Koreans love Tesla, and the retail community is very strong there, so hopefully Tesla can get these certifications it needs for the 3 and Y, and can keep the momentum going, releasing supervised FSD to the entire fleet there. Tesla is now hiring for a vehicle operator in Vienna, Austria, to collect more local data. And then we have what's going on with 14.2.1 in North America. I'm guessing most of you here saw my video on X of some narrated clips of my first 14.2.1 experience on unplowed roads with summer tires. The TLDW, it was incredible. FSD absolutely was adjusting the speed profiles to accelerate slower, brake gradually, wait for bigger gaps to pull into traffic, and so on. Even in Mad Max mode, during stretches where I had no cars ahead of me, the car would stay a few miles per hour under the speed limit, where in normal conditions it would go a few miles per hour over the speed limit. In the past, Elon has made comments about potentially needing region-specific training and profiles for snowy climates. But during this 1 hour drive for me, it became clear relatively quickly that the car really is fully understanding what it needs to do in every situation I put it in. On Mad Max mode, you could tell the car tried to accelerate faster, resulting in a bit more slippage starting from the full NHTSA stops, but even then, the car was incredible at quickly correcting itself. And with the profile set to sloth, as one should have with conditions like this, the slippage was near zero, even up and down hills, and Tesla's traction control was awesome. And it's certainly not just me getting overexcited from one drive. There were dozens of videos out this weekend of people all across the US and Canada testing 14.2.1 in snow, and everyone is saying the same thing. The system knows there is snow on the road and is adjusting behavior accordingly. And in my eyes, this is a huge deal because to date, plenty of people, myself included, thought robotaxis in snowy climates might be years away if Tesla is really going to need separate profiles and or models for snow. But what we're seeing is FSD masterfully handle snowy conditions as it is now. So perhaps Tesla's been doing a lot more behind the scenes than they've let on with snow, or FSD 14 really is developing sentience based on situations. Either way, this is a major breakthrough in my eyes, and now I'm eager for a huge snowstorm here to get back out and do more testing. On X, Josh shared a story from Thanksgiving where they let some family members demo Teslas and FSD. In short, they were blown away. The following day, one of those family members ended up buying a new Model Y. And now her husband is planning to buy a new Model X, so they've gone from no EVs to 2 Teslas in just a few days, once again from butts in seats. And yes, the person that already has their new Tesla is subscribed to FSD. Devin shared this clip of 14.2.1.
Okay, what's it gonna do here? We're coming up to an accident. Wow. Holy. Really good job. We're turning around. I didn't do any of this. FSD did everything here. Incredible. Amazing. Holy. So we just came up on an accident and full self-driving turned around on its own and is now navigating home via like a new route. So that was incredible.
It's now more clear than ever that FSD 14 is actually responding to human hand gestures, and here's some evidence of that from a video from JC.
Right. Passing us through, keep going. It did it.
Yes.
It did it. It went through. So, right, I had my foot ready, but I didn't have to do it.
Ordinarily, a blinking red light would mean treat it just like you would a stop sign, but the car knew not to listen to that and instead pay attention to the people waving the cars through. How about another example from Edge Case? So the car stayed still despite having a green light and waited to go until the traffic cop waved the car on. Just to validate what I said about other people sharing snow anecdotes, the Cybertruck guy said just got done driving around 100 miles on a snowy interstate and a little suburban driving, and FSD absolutely, definitively detects snow as a separate substance from rain. It does not shoot gaps and pull out in front of other vehicles. 14.2 waits for big gaps to make its merge into traffic. It also takes corners slow in the snow to keep traction, which was my experience as well. Chris from Dirty Tesla, I'm blown away by my first FSD snow drive with 14.2.1. FSD now goes slower in the snow, even in Mad Max. The Iowa Tesla guy shared a video of 14.2.1 in the snow, and this was the short of it.
All right, so far so good. I'm really impressed here. This is actually kind of amazing. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. Honestly, I thought that this car had no chance at all of making this drive. I thought it would have lasted 30 seconds before I had to take over, but nope. Call me impressed, Tesla. Call me impressed. Terrible road conditions, 0 interventions, and it did it all perfectly. Perfectly.
This video has done 102,000 views in just 2 days for a channel with 29,000 subscribers. A Tesla stock analyst from TD Cowen just did some Tesla robotaxi rides in Austin. He took 3 robotaxi rides covering about 40 miles over a 2-hour period at a price of $1.08 per mile. TD described the rides as impressive all around, specifically noting the autonomous system handled 2 complex scenarios involving emergency vehicles and a construction site very well. Based on these experiences, the firm believes Tesla appears to be on track to begin removing safety monitors in Austin by the end of the year. TD has a buy rating on Tesla stock with a price target of $509. Mr. Tesla said FSD 14.2 drove from Chicago to Cape Coral, Florida on his Cybertruck. Of the 1,287 miles for the total trip, FSD handled 1,286 of them. And rounding up, that's 100% on self-driving. 1.2 million impressions on that post. And with all of this going on, it's a perfect time for Tesla to offer a free 30-day trial, which it's now doing, and in some cases, the trial will be closer to 40 days, covering travel through New Year's. Now, I still think we'll see a somewhat muted response until people can stop paying attention, but perhaps Elon's last big piece of the puzzle with version 14.3 will be the point release that brings that feature, as Elon did say it was only 1 to 2 months away at the shareholder meeting the first week of November. All this to say, Tesla's ChatGPT Moment has certainly started, but it's going to play out over the next few months, and it will hit a new level once people are able to use their phones even in limited situations. There were some posts on X saying that Tesla's FSD as a search term on Google Trends was at a new all-time high, and your results might vary depending on what device you're accessing this from, but looking at data for the United States for the past 5 years, you'll see the actual peak was around March 2024. And that peak was right around the time when Tesla was offering, you guessed it, a 30-day trial for FSD to customers in the US. It was also the month that Elon sent emails to employees encouraging everyone to make sure they demonstrate FSD during vehicle deliveries. So you'll have temporary spikes, but I think the more important trend is that since the summer of 2024, the steady search interest has been on an uptrend. And I know that robotaxi progress has been slower than many were hoping for so far this year, but the next few months are shaping up to be the time when things finally start to break open. And until then, we have FSD 14 impressing millions of people, whether from first-hand experiences or content online. And I cannot speak for anyone else, but my recent snow experience paired with my overall 14.2.1 rides have me feeling a new sense of optimism about where Tesla really is with FSD and what it likely has in store over the next few months. Yi Lun Chen said after almost 4 memorable years, he has moved on from Apple. His new chapter, he's now joining Tesla's Optimus AI team to work on humanoid robots. He said humanoids are the ultimate dream of our generation. With the recent breakthrough of LLMs and physical AI, this dream is finally within reach, and it's on us to make it come true. Tesla has the right combination of software, hardware, and AI talent to make it happen. I was totally blown away by the scale and sophistication of the Optimus lab and deep dedication of people when I got to visit the office. My first week was already so much fun and exciting, a flat team structure, spontaneous deep technical discussions, direct communications across levels, hardcore building, and crazy ideas with super fast iterations. You can feel the energy to change the world here. I really like it so far. Yilun is now the staff robotics engineer at Tesla. And interestingly enough, he also worked at both Uber and Lyft for roughly 2 years in the past. While still at Apple, he was on the robotics research team focused on embodied AI research, working on robotics foundation models, sim-to-real, VLA, dexterous manipulation, humanoid whole body control, which are all buzzwords we have used in the past to describe Tesla's Optimus program. Elon gave a new interview over the weekend with Nikhil Kamath. There wasn't a whole lot about Tesla that we have not heard before, but one thing I did want to pass along.
We've made a lot of progress with electric vehicles, with battery packs and solar, and very much so with self-driving. So basically, real-world AI. Tesla is the world leader in real-world AI, I would say. So, and then we're going to be making this robot Optimus, which is, starting production hopefully summer next year, at scale.
So that's our latest update on Optimus production, hopefully at scale summer of next year. I will be holding steady in saying I have my doubts about this timeline. Remember, Elon said there would be a few thousand produced by the end of this year, and that's certainly not going to happen. So I just think there's going to be so much complexity with the new hand, and Tesla is spinning up these supply chains from scratch, so it's going to take longer than Elon and the team thinks. And to some degree, it depends on what Elon means by scale, and then there's the question of what roles the first few thousand Optimi are going to be deployed into. I still think we have limited production of Optimus next year, and then any type of scale won't happen until 2027, which is why I keep saying if you want the needle to move at Tesla from a financial perspective or a demand perspective, all eyes should be on FSD. So in case you see Chinese sources saying that Tesla's robot production timelines are nearing completion, and that final inspections are going to be conducted next week, and that these will not be routine production line checks but a mass production certification audit, I would not be putting any stock into these reports. But what they added, this inspection and audit primarily focuses on verifying whether the production lines of several domestic companies meet required standards. Sources indicate multiple Tesla supply chain companies are expected to receive mass production orders for Optimus in December. Of course, Tesla will be trying to give suppliers a heads up as far in advance as it can, but just because a few suppliers are being locked in and given instructions does not mean the entire Optimus production line will be able to start, and hopefully that's obvious. So there's always plenty of reporting anytime Tesla loses any employee talent. Just remember there's always a steady influx of top-tier talent as well. Elon said Optimus will be the von Neumann probe, sharing a Grok explanation saying a von Neumann probe is a hypothetical self-replicating spacecraft proposed by the mathematician and physicist John von Neumann. The core idea is a machine that can travel to a new star system or location, mine and extract raw materials, use those materials to manufacture copies of itself, and launch those new copies toward other star systems. Repeat indefinitely. And we got a crucial clarification from Elon here that the plural form of Optimus will be Optimi. Tesla's Model 3 and Y once again led the field in a new real-world energy consumption test conducted by China's Autohome. All vehicles being evaluated were placed under identical conditions. In that environment, the Model 3 posted a 20.8 kilowatt-hour per 100 kilometers, while the Model Y came in at 21.8. These figures positioned Tesla's vehicles firmly at the top of the ranking and highlighted their continued leadership in long-range efficiency. Xiaomi's CEO chimed in about the results, saying, "We will continue to learn from Tesla and further optimize our energy consumption performance." I don't think this comes as any surprise to this audience, but Tesla is indeed still the global benchmark for EV efficiency. If you were wondering, it's now official. Tesla has sold more cars in Norway this year than any other automaker has ever in a full year. So Tesla broke the record with 1 month left to go. In Norway, January through November, Tesla has sold 28,606 vehicles, breaking the record of just under 26,600 set by VW back in 2016. You guys know one of my pet peeves is when people say Tesla is sold out of vehicles. Over the weekend, those headlines were making the rounds, but all that's going on here is that the expected delivery date for the Model Y in China is now out into January 2026. Which, yes, is a positive indication of current demand, but zooming out, even if Tesla has a very strong December, they're likely still going to be down year over year for data from Giga Shanghai. And yes, part of that underperformance is from Tesla switching over to the new models in the first half of the year. And just a heads up, we no longer get the weekly sales data coming from Giga Shanghai, so we're going to have to wait for monthly data going forward. Elon replied to an AI Tesla motorcycle post saying, "It's never happening as we cannot make motorcycles safe. For community notes, my near-death experience was on a road bike. Dirt bikes are safe if you ride carefully, as you can't be smashed by a truck." Tesla stock closed the day at $430.14, down 0.01%, while the NDX was down 0.36%. The volume was 31% below the average. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X, linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.